Hey, how's it going YouTube? This is your boy Chosen and welcome to today's discussion video. So today I wanted to touch focus on the main threat heading into the time skip, which after chapter 55 we know is everything Code. That one perplexing character we've all been waiting for to properly get introduced into the series. And it turns out the wait for him was worth it. By what it seems, Code will most likely be the main villain heading into the time skip. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think he will be the most impactful or the final villain, but heading into the time skip, we know that Kara's plan, even though there were some complications, the end goal is still the same. For an Isshiki to suck earth dry and harvest a chakra fruit, moving from planet to planet to eventually obtain enough power that will determine one as a god. Except this time it will be Code instead of Isshiki who concludes this plan. That's what we got in chapter 55. Isshiki Isshiki is officially dead, but passed down his will to his most loyal servant, Code, who will become an Isshiki by eating the chakra fruit, and down the line as he continues this gruesome method of obtaining power will come to be one worthy of being called a true god. How far Code will actually go with this plan, I'm not sure. But besides anything, the one thing I am excited for with this character is to see what his personal abilities are. We already know Code's motives, which if you take the time to really think about, that plan will come to eventually pose a bigger threat than anything we've ever seen in the Naruto or Boruto franchise, right? Like, we're talking about a literal god. I'm not disregarding Madara's character at all. His character to me was great. Code and Madara obviously had two different goals, but if you compare what kind of threat Shippuden had towards the end of their series to what Boruto's going into the time skip, like, this is some crazy shit. They're still gonna be like young teenagers. After chapter 55 came out, some were saying that the idea of the Isshiki god could have been inspired by Kishimoto's work with Samurai 8. I personally have not read it, but based off of the little information I know about it, I can definitely see where that idea is coming from. But speaking on power, because this is something very important for Code to even be able to follow through with his plan. That goes for a lot of characters when it comes to fighting animes. If Obito did not possess an overpowered Mangekyo ability, and if Madara did not possess the Rinnegan, their plan to activate Infinite Tsukiyomi wouldn't have even came close to happening, due to them just simply being overpowered by the Alliance. If Madara had not turned into the perfect 10 tails Jinchuriki with, 2 Rinnegans and 1 Rinne Sharingan, Six Path Naruto and Rinnegan Sasuke probably would have smoked them. My point being, in order to follow through with whatever plan the villain has, they need the power to defeat those crossing their path. So with that said, with Code, we already know that he possesses an active Karma Seal. Yes, despite it being a white seal, which hasn't directly been explained to us, the complete difference between a black and a white one, but just the fact that the seal activates by lining up all the way through the user's arm to their eyes proves that, yeah, Isshiki cannot be resurrected through Code, but shouldn't disregard the fact that he can probably still use the seal's abilities. Cause if not, then why even bother showing that the white mark can activate in the first place? It might as well just stay as a small little seal. If you combine Code's most likely powerful personal abilities with this given seal, he probably is a force that is deemed worthy of a worldwide threat despite Naruto and Sasuke still being around. Which now means it's definitely possible for someone like Code to fulfill his promise to Isshiki and get his revenge before going through with the plan, which is today's video. For those who keep up with both the anime and the manga, know that Code's addiction to Isshiki was actually foreshadowed in the anime twice now, which the first time it was foreshadowed was actually even before this most recent chapter came out. We don't know the complete backstory of Kara and how they became to be, but when we do, it's gonna be crazy to think that the anime, which is at like chapter 20 something, is foreshadowing something that happened in chapter 55, for example, which is probably not even going to get covered for at least another year or two. Now, of course, I don't think Code is powerful enough to storm through Konoha, take on every single ninja there and come out of it alive. Don't get me wrong, the Karma Seal is powerful, but besides absorbing chakra and teleporting through dimensions, that's kind of it. In battle, Code cannot rely on just the seal, like with Isshiki. It wasn't the seal that made him extremely powerful, it was his raw speed and power. You could take the Karma Seal away from Isshiki, it doesn't stop him from dogging on Naruto and Sasuke. So with that same sense, for Code to stand any chance against Konoha, whatever his original abilities are must be pretty crazy, as those are the primary features he's gonna need when going into battle. Of course though, with most major villains, they never do things alone. Yes, Code has Delta, but even with her, I don't think it's enough to simply swoop in there and just take Kawaki like it's nothing. You can make the debate that Code doesn't even need to really fight, like just with Isshiki, he could just be all about getting done what needs to get done. So he could realistically just go to Konoha, quickly grab Kawaki, and then just leave. The problem with this, however, is Boruto and his close relationship with Kawaki. If Kawaki is captured, Boruto is more likely to hear about it pretty soon after, so if he learns how to master this portal ability, nothing is really stopping him from chasing after Code, which puts him at the disadvantage if Konoha's top fighters just pull up on him. Yes, I do think Code is going to be a Boruto Shippuden villain. I mean, yeah, of course, but I don't think it's going to be as soon, or rather I think there's going to need to be more build up before that happens. With Code now clearly being the leader of whatever remains of Kara, it might be time for him to look for more members to help him with whatever plan he has in the future. And it doesn't even have to go as far as fighting, with Naruto choosing to keep the village gates open despite knowing of Kara. Sending in inner members or even outer members to gather information on what's going on with Konoha would be very useful. I just simply don't think Code is capable of doing what Isshiki did, pulling up on Konoha and just casually asking everyone where Kawaki is, knowing that you have the raw power to fuck this village up despite Naruto and Sasuke being there, who technically are still the two strongest people. I just don't think as of now Code is that kind of threat. He's a threat, but not that kind of threat. He's gonna need help, so gathering whatever outer members there are left or bringing in new inner members I think would be pretty cool. I know today's was a short one, guys, but that's because this topic of Code is actually getting split into 3 different videos. Think of this like part 1. I think each topic that I'm going to cover deserves its own video. So after Sunday's chapter review, the next 2 videos are going to revolve around Code and the Isshiki clan again. So if you enjoyed this video and are interested for what I have to say in the future, I'd very much appreciate a sub and a like. Thank you guys for watching all the way until the end, and I'll catch you on the next one.